Good afternoon. My name is Jonathan Evans. I'm the city manager here in the city of Riviera Beach. And I want to thank you all for being here to celebrate you all as educators and faculty and staff of our wonderful education institutions here in Palm Beach County. We are so humbled to have the opportunity to recognize each and every one of you for your contributions you've made to the young people in our community. Routinely enough, we see situations where we have book bag drives and back-to-school events, but we routinely don't get together enough to celebrate the educators that have such a profound impact on our community. And so I want to say that from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate the efforts and the investments that you make in our young people. Each and every one of us here today that will share some comments and thoughts have seen an educator play a tremendous role in our life. I can tell you, for me, it was the 5th grade Miss Jackson. After graduating from the 4th grade, getting ready to go into the 5th grade, my friends told me, Jonathan, you'll be okay as long as you don't get Miss Jackson for the 5th grade. So that entire summer, I checked the mail every day. And then the schedule came. And I committed mail fraud. And I didn't know that at the time, and I opened the schedule, and I saw that I had Miss Jackson for the 5th grade. And at that time, I told my parents that I wanted to drop out of school and try something new. And my mom and dad said, you know what, son, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So with my parents, my dad being from Jamaica, my mom being from Panama, I'm a first-generation U.S. citizen. So my parents really instilled a value of hard work, dedication, and that your education is so valuable. It's the only thing that someone can never take away from you. And so I started that class with Miss Jackson, and Miss Jackson was the first teacher that really saw the potential in me, that really inspired and encouraged me to be any and everything I ever wanted to be. And to this day, I still keep in contact with Miss Jackson for the profound impact she had on my life. So I say that to say this. Educators pour so much into the students that they teach, but the communities that they teach in. And I was reading some articles, and it says, a teacher fills the pail. But I would say that a teacher doesn't fill the pail. A teacher lights the light. And I found a quote that really resonated with me. It says, a good teacher is like a candle. It consumes itself to light the pathway for others. Each and every one of you have had a profound impact on a young person or multiple young people. And this community is so grateful for your commitment to your selfless service to make sure that you light that candle for some of our young folks. You are a remarkable set of individuals. You do the job that a lot of people don't want to do. We know that you don't do it for the compensation. We know you do it because you care and you're compassionate about the young people and future generations. And so for all the educators in the room and those that have played a remarkable role in making Riviera Beach the city it is today and the city it will be tomorrow, thank you for your contributions to our young people and to our community. And you certainly are so valuable that we cannot thank you enough. And this is just a small token of our appreciation and our gratitude. And rest assured, at any time, if you ever needed to pick up the phone to call me and call upon this city to help you, we are always a phone call away, and we will always send whatever resources we have in your classrooms to make sure that we prepare the opportunities for the next generation. So with that being said, I have a video that my council would like to share with you because they are actually at the Florida League of Cities conference, but they too wanted to share their perspective and how much they value each and every one of you. So thank you so much for the opportunity to bring you greetings. And now the City Council of the City of Riviera Beach.
Hello. How are you doing? Well, good. I'm Shirley Lanier. I'm the city council person for District 3 for the city of Riviera Beach, and I'm happy that you guys are here today. I know that Riviera Beach has some of the best teachers in the school district because I went to school. That's right. Because I went to school at Lincoln, I went to school at John F. Kennedy, and I went and finished up at Suncoast. And of course, I'm a Rattler. That's what I'm talking about. So I got my education very well from Lincoln to Suncoast to Florida A&M University, and I'm so happy that you guys came out today. I want you to know the importance of teachers. Now, let me tell you a story. When I first finished at FAMU, I wanted to be a teacher. So I started substitute teaching. And I went as far as getting the eligibility certification. And 1 year substitute teaching, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I thought I had the patience. I thought I had it. But those kids told me, no, you don't have it. So I take my hat off to you guys because to be in those classrooms day after day and to have, you know, the issues that children have these days and the societal pressures and all of these things that are going on that are happening inside your classroom, and plus you have to teach. So all of those things that you have going on, I really appreciate the fact that you have dedicated your lives to doing something for the children, especially here in Riviera Beach, and we hope you have a wonderful, wonderful year.
On today. So first of all, let me say to our honored guests, my fellow Rattler, Mr. Gillum here, and my good friend Sean Pittman over there, and one of my let me see how I want to say this. My auntie on the board, Ms. Deborah Robinson, who does talk to me like one of my relatives, and we'll say that for another day. But listen, to the teachers in this room, I'm so proud of y'all. I don't know what to do. You know, we're working hard every single day in this community. Thanks to the taxpayers of this community, on the 23rd, we're going to give you a little something extra in your check. And so really excited about that. And, you know, yeah, and I think it's important because, you know, the work is hard. And, you know, when we think about the communities that I started teaching in and the community that we serve, we're asked to do an awful lot, above and beyond just teaching. And, you know, some of us are mentors, fathers, mothers, pastors, counselors. I can go on and on. Some of y'all bringing clothes and feeding kids and being that, you know, that person that they can lean on when the realities of life jump on their backs at age 5 and 6. And so for me, the teaching profession, the teachers in Palm Beach County are amazing, and you deserve all the credit. And so I'm also to the city of Riviera Beach, I'm looking forward to us working together to improve all outcomes for the entire community. So whatever we can do together, I'm excited to make that happen. Let's give us a round of applause for that. But at the end of the day, it's Friday. We have survived our first week. And it was a great first week. I mean, you know, obviously, I want all of us to take a moment this weekend to be thankful for what we have at our houses, considering we did lose 2 kids this week, you know, no fault of ours. But again, it just always reminds me of how fragile life is and how important the work we do as educators every day is. So I thank you for allowing me to be a part of your team, and we're going to keep making this thing happen. So congratulations to you for another A season, and let's have another one. Thank you so much.
Hello, Riviera Beach teachers. How are y'all doing? Outstanding. My name is Bobby Powell, Jr., State Senator representing Senate District 30. I'm a native of Riviera Beach, and I'm back home today, and I'm glad to be able to introduce my good friend back to the city of Riviera Beach. So, I just want to let you all know real quick that this gentleman, Mr. Andrew Gillum, I like y'all, Mr. Andrew Gillum. He's a lifelong public servant. He's the former mayor of Tallahassee and a 2018 Florida Democratic gubernatorial nominee. Mayor Gillum possesses the unique ability to bring people together for a common purpose and to mobilize them to bring about change. As we know, the mayor has a unique initiative that I'm sure he'll tell you about in a moment. Above all, Mayor Gillum shows us what fearless leadership looks like. We know that he is a champion for everyday people. The mayor inspired millions of people across the state of Florida and across this nation in its run for governor in 2018. He surged past 4 better-funded candidates in the primary to a history-making victory as the Florida Democratic Party's first African-American nominee. I can tell you from the years that I've known him, and from my little bit of experience in campaigns, that being able to watch around the state, even though he was not as well funded as the other candidates, the mayor had a certain rhythm to his campaign. And when you have a rhythm to your campaign, there's no amount of money that can beat that. So we could feel it early on that the mayor would step onto the stage to the tunes of the Migos. Y'all know the Migos. If you don't and you're teaching, you better learn them quick. Walk it like I talk it. And I can tell you that Mayor Gillum has walked it like he's talked it for the last 15 years. As a student at Florida A&M University at the age of 23, he became elected to the City Commission of Tallahassee. I remember being a student while he was the SGA student body president and running for that office. A lot of the locals in Tallahassee started to protest the fact that you were running to be a city commissioner. As a matter of fact, they asked that the students on campus not be allowed to vote. And because of that, we grew stronger and came out in droves to make sure that we got our mayor elected as the city commissioner. I'll tell you, following his historic run for governor, Mayor Gillum was honored as one of the Ebony Power 100. He was named a 2019 resident fellow at the Institute of Politics at Harvard Kennedy School. And Mayor Gillum is now the chair of Forward Florida and resides in Tallahassee, Florida, with his wife, RJ, and 3 children, Jackson, Caroline, and Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Mayor Andrew Gillum. Thank you.
Rattlers, rattlers, rattlers. Strike and strike again. Will you all give it up for Bobby Powell, our state senator, who, in addition to he and I both being graduates of the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University, we both had the real pleasure, I before and now him, of working with Mr. Tomas Alcala. Tomas, wave where you are. Y'all won't know this young man. He's from Miami. But when I was on the campaign trail and we had a staff of maybe 5 people, this was the guy who would show up at my house at 3 o'clock in the morning to pick me up, and we would drive to Orlando and end the day in Miami and get up the next morning at 3 o'clock and make our way back across the state. That's when there was no money, no cameras, no resources, and not a lot of people who believed. And so in addition to acknowledging the good senator, I wanted to acknowledge as well my good friend. I also obviously want to thank the great city of Riviera Beach. Thank you, Councilwoman. And city manager. Honestly, the truth is that there are not a lot of cities that take out the time to lift up their public educators and support staff and administration. And so when you see that kind of extraordinary example, you got to call it out and you have to applaud it and you have to appreciate it because it doesn't happen everywhere. And so I want you to know you're a special place in that regard. Mr. Superintendent, to the school board, Dr. Robinson, wherever she may be, who helped to helm this event, I want to thank you right there. I want to thank you. Will y'all give it up for Dr. Robinson? She a real doctor. She a medical doctor. And I got to say that because I just got an honorary doctorate, and people call me doctor. I'm like, I am no doctor. I assure you of that. And so I want to give it up for those who actually put in the work. You all, I don't know if you're familiar with the 5 B's of public speaking, but I am. And for those of you who don't know them, the 5 B's, quite simply, are be brief, brother, be brief. And so this is the end of your first week with students, and I'm certain the last thing you want to do is have to sit through a verbose conversation with me. But fortunately enough, I didn't, unlike the superintendent he's channeling his inner rattler on his tie. I didn't wear a tie today. In fact, I wanted to channel vacation to you to try to simulate what you may have to look forward to at your next break opportunity, right? The beauty is that the timing worked out that I actually am attending a conference down the road. And when Dr. Robinson reached out about lifting up and celebrating you all, public educators, the administration, the staff, and obviously importantly the teachers and the teaching staff, I wanted to make sure we could do everything that we could to be here to just say quite simply the most understated, overutilized sometimes, and not often deserved words in the dictionary. And in this appropriate occasion, I think they're well deserved. And that's to simply say thank you. I want to thank you in advance for what you're going to do. I want to thank you for what you have already done. And I want to thank you for taking our time from what is a busy time of year to just be here and to commiserate, but also to celebrate together about the high achievements that really stand before you as we continue this school year. I am the dad to 3 children, and my twin 5-year-olds began kindergarten at the beginning of this week. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, some say it could be, what do you say? The saying is bittersweet. It was certainly very sweet to me. My wife, it felt a little bitter, so she couldn't control herself and went off into tears. I started my morning this morning in Tallahassee. My wife was out of town for work, and I realized on the way in here, I was supposed to do my daughter's hair before she went to school, and I took it out of the ponytail to fix it back, and somehow I got distracted, and I put the band on my arm. Well, the band is still on my arm, so I have no idea what she looks like this morning at school. She got curly hair, but God help her. And God help me when my wife sees this, right? There is an ancient African village known as the Maasai tribe. The story of the Maasai has been told time and time again, particularly in the public education space, because of the very pronounced and I think delicate story that really lies beneath the Maasai people. So the Maasai people, over the arc of history, were a tribal community and a society that was known for demonstrating excellence in all things. They were excellent hunters and gatherers. They were excellent warriors. They stood on average, men and women, 6.3 feet tall. They were the envy of many, many, many African tribes. But the Maasai people were also known for a greeting that they would exchange between each other. It didn't matter if it was a man encountering a family or a woman encountering another woman. The question was always the same. They would ask quite simply, whenever they would encounter one another, and how are the children? How are the children? How are the this question because they were a society that recognized that how well we were set up to do as society was based off how well our children were set up to do. Isn't that something? I have a sneaky feeling that you all understand the complexity of that question and how are the children. Why? Because you get to see them at their very best, but also at their very worst. You all are saddled with the responsibility of not just being the teaching staff, the teaching professional, the administrator, the school lunch lady and lunch man, or if you were my mother, who growing up served as a school bus driver for the Miami-Dade school system. You all were charged with being increasingly not just those who instructed, but you were with psychology, with sociology, with being the father, the brother, the sister, and unfortunately now we're expecting you to also be the security guards, right? And society puts on you the weight of taking a child regardless of how they show up in your space and making sure that they are equipped with the knowledge and the skills and the tools that are required in order to be productive, learned, young people who go into society and have great impact. That's a big, big burden. And so the reason why we are here today to simply say thank you and to encourage you is because we're folks who understand the burden that you're saddled with. I'll put it this way. Before my kids started kindergarten, they went to a child care center where the curriculum was around conscious discipline. And so they would have all of these activities that they would do every single day. Well, my wife normally did drop-off, but on occasion, I would get the opportunity to do drop-off. And of course, when I did drop-off, we were almost always late getting to the center. Well, on this particular day, we showed up at the center, and the class has a ritual that they perform. Every single day, the kids have a Velcro picture of themselves, and the teacher checks each child into the classroom in a group circle that they form. And each of the kids, as they check in, they say a little bit about themselves, and then we move the Velcro sticker and we put the picture in the wishing well. Well, when the child is not there, the Velcro sticker is still there, but because the child isn't in the room, they're not able to give their own testimony. And so the teacher will take the picture of the child, and on this day, we were late, so I came in as the activity was happening. And the teacher didn't see me, but she picked up my child, Jackson's picture, and she said, "We don't know why Jackson isn't here today, class. We don't know if he's sick or if he's not well or if something else happened or if he just is running late." And of course, I'm in the back of the room, and of course, we're running late. And she says to the class, "But class, we want to wish Jackson well." They took the picture and they put Jackson in the wishing well, and they held my daughter's picture up and said, "We don't know why Caroline isn't here." Of course, I know. But we want to make sure that we wish Caroline well. And so, class, let's wish Caroline well. And they say, "We wish you well, Caroline." And I don't know what was going on in my life at the time, but that activity struck me so deeply. The activity of, you all know this as adults. You walk into a space and you encounter another adult, and maybe they're not themselves. And maybe we start judging in our own head what might be going on in their lives. And wouldn't it be something if instead of judging, we said, "We wish you well"? And so today, to our administrators, to our superintendent of schools, to all of our principals and vice principals and guidance counselors and those who serve in administrative roles, your job is hard, and the public eye is always upon you. There's always a judging eye and people who believe that they can do your job better than you do it. But I want to say on behalf of a grateful community and a grateful state that we wish you well. And to our staff, right? And they serve at all different levels. Those who are support staff, those who are administrative staff, those who are bus drivers, and those who are janitors, and those who work in the hallways of our schools. You oftentimes work in a thankless environment where maybe you're not high enough up where everyone gets to see you and laud you for your work, but you're not at the bottom, so nobody pays you pity necessarily. And you show up and you dutifully do your job and you endure a whole bunch of stuff that you just keep bottled up. I want you to know that we wish you well. And for our teachers, and I got a special place in my heart for our teachers because my life trajectory was changed because a teacher pulled me to the side and said, "You're a smart young man, and I think you ought to take honors classes." And her words put me on a college-bound trajectory. Never, ever underestimate the power of your words, teachers, as you pour into children, as you speak future into them, as you speak ambition into them, as you speak words of prosperity into them. Never, ever, ever believe that for a second your words are falling on deaf ears. They're piercing them. They're penetrating them. But children oftentimes are stubborn, so they don't always believe you the first time. So you have to keep telling them again, 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 and again. But I promise you, you're piercing through them. I am standing here today as the former mayor of Tallahassee and as the former Democratic nominee for governor of the state of Florida because a teacher spoke words of affirmation and inspiration into me. You do a difficult job. Sometimes you don't get the appreciation and the praise that you deserve. And because I know that Florida pays its teachers the 45th lowest salary of all 50 states, the compensation often doesn't end up being your reward. But I want you to know the reward oftentimes comes in the example of folks like me and others who you look back on years later and you say, man, I knew there was something special about that kid. And you took the time to pour into us. You have a difficult job, and I want you to know that I wish you well. And so regardless of what your station is and how difficult the coming months and the coming years may feel and may be for you, know that there are people out there who are championing you, who are encouraging you that even if the words thank you don't cross their lips, we are deeply, deeply grateful for what you've done and for what you will do. And so because I said I'm going to be brief, I'm going to wrap it there and simply say, I wish you well. Take care. Dr. Robinson, are you next? Come on up. What's your name? Say it again. Will y'all please help me welcome Devaney, who is in her senior year. Which high school? Which high school? Who is in her senior year at Suncoast High School. And when I was talking about those students who you're going to look back on and wonder whether or not your words ever pierced and made impact, this is one of your clear examples right here. Will you all please welcome her?
Good afternoon to all of our distinguished attendees, and a more personable good afternoon to all of our amazing teachers. My name is Devaney Allen, and I am currently a student at Suncoast Community High School. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to trump Mr. Gillum's speech because that was so amazing. But what else can we expect from him? I understand that he is a graduate from the Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. Go Rattlers. This afternoon, I am here to speak to the teachers on behalf of all the students in Palm Beach County. I am currently an honor student at Suncoast, and I know this is because of the skills my teachers have instilled in me. Currently, we spend more waking hours in school than we do at home. And I know, although my mom stands behind me, my teachers are also there for me. Anytime I hear a person talking about their childhood, they always recount on their memories in school. It is crucial that you know how important you are to me and all the other students in Palm Beach County. Without you, all of us would not be here today. Even though you may not be uniquely recognized on a consistent basis as you should be, you are adored and admired from the bottom of our hearts. We are fully aware of the time and effort that you put into us to do well academically and become morally conscious citizens. We need you to keep your heads up, to stay strong, and most of us realize that 100 years from now, it will not matter the house you lived in, the car you drove, or the amount of money you had in your bank account. But most of all, the positive effect that you had on the life of a child. From this day forward and forevermore, the city of Riviera Beach desires you to know you are respected, honored, appreciated, supported, and most of all, loved. With that being said, can I please have everyone stand and give a special round of applause and a big thank you to our teachers, our stars. Thank you.
So I need to learn how to talk like Mr. Gillum and Devaney. What you say? So my message may not be quite as clear, but I'm going to do me. Can I do me? It's Friday. I'm told some of the teachers at happy hour. I was going to try to figure out where that was so we could have a different session, but okay. So first, I really want to thank the City of Riviera Beach, the Riviera Beach CRA, the Pittman Law Group, as well as Mr. Gillum for putting their time, their energy, and their resources into coming here to honor you. because, as Devaney said, you are the stars, and we understand that. If you don't mind, I want to share with you a couple of the stars that have impacted my life. Because now, you know, I gave birth to 3 black men. They weren't men when I gave birth to them, but I'm just saying. I am so thankful that they grew to be men in this day and age, right? And we are very proud of them. Each of them went through the Palm Beach County public school systems, and I just want to name a few of the teachers, and I've been looking for them, and I haven't seen the ones I'm gonna name. So first I want to shout out Mrs. Rhymes. So Mrs. Rhymes was my youngest son's first and second grade teacher, and she never gave up on him, ever, right? She was talking me up sometimes when I'm crying, going, oh, you know, she never gave up. She spoke promise into him. That boy's a civil engineer now. So, and I also want to lift up Mr. Moe. Who's from Suncoast? Mr. Moe still at Suncoast? Mr. Mosley? What? How we do that? Mr. Deputy, we need to get on that right now. I'm just telling you. Okay, so I'm speaking as a mother, not a school board member. Y'all know that, right? So let me just say this. So that boy, that particular boy, hated to read. Hated to read. We fought all the time. I was looking for the magic, right? Somebody was going to give me the magic to teach him to read. And the teachers would say, to learn to read, you have to read. I was like, no, there must be an answer, a pill I can give him or something, right? Well, the pill was Miss Rhymes and Mr. Moe. Because I'm telling you, he was at Suncoast, he would read anything from Mr. Moe. Because he connected with Mr. Moe, and more importantly, Mr. Moe connected with him and affirmed him and lifted him up and said, boy, you can do better than that, right? And so he wanted to make Mr. Moe proud, so he read, right? Then I want to talk about, for my middle son, I'm going to just name one teacher right now, and I know I saw her daughter here, and I need you to tell her that I called her out in public, but that was Janetta Wilson. 3rd grade. This is a real long story, but I'm going to just cut it short and say, it's how you look at them, right? How you see them. She told me a story, okay, just a little bit. She told me this story about how she left the classroom to go to the office, and she came back in, and there my child was flitting all over the class, talking to everybody, doing all the stuff, right? And she opened the door and went in. He sat down and went back to work. So now what would most teachers say? Most teachers would say, he was misbehaving because I told him to stay in his seat and work on the worksheets, right? What she said was, he respects me as the teacher because when I came in, he got right back to work. I was like, dang, really? Like, that's how you like, it's just like different glasses, right? But let me tell you what, his reading scores increased 20 percentile points that one year because he was going to do that for Miss Wilson, right? He's a pharmacist now and actually incorporating my side business, but that's another thing. Okay. And so then, now my oldest son, I had the opportunity to speak with him earlier today when I was trying to wrap my mind around this event. And I was like, tell me about the teachers that positively impacted you. And that boy just started talking, right? And so he talked about Miss Gilbert in 1st grade, Miss Chakuma in 3rd grade, Miss Holland in 5th grade. Now, we're going to Suncoast now. Mr. and Mrs. Williams, right? Now, this is what he said. I had to start writing down his words of wisdom. The Mrs. Williams had a motherly nature. She was the first real example, these are his words, of people with real expertise who don't mistreat you based on how you dress or if you fell asleep in class. I was like, what? You were falling asleep in class? Right? Okay. Then he said, there was no judgment, just teaching. She let me do me, so I worked harder in her class. Others want to harass you if you had on a hoodie. Okay? And then Mr. Hale. Mr. Hale still there? He's not what? Okay. Well, that's apparently very good for the children because my son said he was a mix of cool with passion for teaching. I was like, dang, that's good, right? Okay. He said he would take you as you are. His agenda was building up his students and challenging their preconceived notions of themselves. All right? Now, I know that's who you are, right? And so for each of you, I got some more stories, but I ain't going to share them with you because I know it's Friday at the end of the first week of school, right? But what I want to say to you is, just like that son, now that one's a lawyer now. So, and it's because, and he's naming the teachers. He started talking about which teachers gave him what he needed so he could go on to law school. Now, he also said this, too. He said, but he was also inspired by the haters, okay? But he made the point that he came from a household that pushed him, affirmed him, had high expectations of him. And he said, children who don't have that at home, the haters will kill them, okay? So I too want you to know that I know how important you are and how your words, one sentence, can turn a child's life, right? I was going to be a nurse. My mother was sick. Her doctor said to me, why are you going to be a nurse? You could be a doctor. I was like, okay. Literally, that sentence, that question made me go to med school, right? But that's what you do every day, right? And I know it's hard because you're dealing with other people's children. Come on. I didn't even want to give them a ride to school. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm just telling you, my own were enough, right? I'm just saying. The car would hold 4 boys, and 3 of them I gave birth to. So the other one, you better be straight now because I didn't give birth to you. So anyway, so my point is, I am so thrilled about this relationship with the city of Riviera Beach because we are going to work together. The leadership in the city understands how important education is. They understand that the schools can't do it all by themselves, right? So we're going to work in partnership. And actually, I want to invite you to City Hall this Monday at 6 p.m. I'm going to make a presentation to the City Commission on the status of education in Riviera Beach. I would love if you would attend. And so now I'm also supposed to say, I'm trying to get back into where I'm supposed to go here. So, okay, one more thing. So as Mr. Gillum said, I'm an MD, but I want to be really clear that you save lives, okay? I want to be really clear about that. And then guess what? Or not. Because y'all know who they are. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to work with the haters, okay? To work with the haters, to get the haters to not be so hateful and maybe affirm them and wish them well so maybe they'll wish the children well. Because it's a book that says if you don't feed the teachers, they eat the children, right? No, I'm serious. And so those of you in this room, I think we're preaching to the choir. I'm going to ask you to also put a little bit of energy towards, rehabbing the haters. How about that? Okay, so now let me try to get my political correctness on and acknowledge district officials in the room. So I want to start off with the Deputy Superintendent, Keith Oswald, who will be coming up next. So superintendent's back in the room. He left the room, so y'all met him already, so that's why I didn't start with him. So just, okay, all right. Oh, and let me say this rattler thing y'all got going on. Okay? I'm just saying. No, I'm not hating. No, this HBCU love, baby. This HBCU love. Because, the Howard banner says, it's lonely at the top, okay? I'm just saying. All right? I'll bring it for you. Just let me know. Next time we get together, I'll bring it for you. I'll put it right up here, Okay. But listen, two of my boys went to FAM. Okay. I'm just saying. You know what I mean? Right? But the other one, The other one went to Howard. Okay. I met my husband in Howard. Is it getting better for you now? Like I'm just telling you, Howard. Okay. All right, so let me get back on point. Chief of Staff, is that your title? Okay, Chief of Staff. You know, I don't do titles well. Chief of Staff, Ed Tierney. Okay, any other central office? Where is she? Oh, there she is. Oh, how could I forget Dr. Sheffield? Y'all give it up. Dr. Glenda Sheffield. Who is now our Chief Academic Officer. Okay, our regional superintendent for the area is dropping her baby off at a HBCU, okay? We have instructional superintendent Robin Brown. Stand up, child. Instructional superintendent Maria Bishop. Instructional superintendent Joe Lee is with his children. So, you know, that's what they tell me, right? I give them a pass, okay. So, because you're with your children, I got to leave you alone. Principals in the house. JFK. West Riviera. Where's Lincoln? I saw Lincoln. Where's Bethune? Bethune's not here? Sit down, Emma. I see you. Okay, Bethune's not here? Okay, the principal's not here. I know she's working. Saving souls, right? Y'all pray for her. Just saying. Okay. Wish her well. Oh, thank you. Wish her well, y'all. Thank you. Get me on point, right? Okay, who am I forgetting? Okay. Wait a minute, hang on. Is the principal for Washington here? There she is. Wait a minute, what is that you have on? Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to come back. I'm sorry. I thought I was at a family reunion a little bit here. I'm going to just come on back. Okay. All right, we have, I got to go here. Suncoast in the house. Riviera Beach Prep in the house. Okay. And Inlet Grove in the house. All right, so did I do all my politically correct thing I was supposed to do? Okay, so I've completed my assigned task, and now to bring it on home, I'm going to ask our Deputy Superintendent Keith Oswald to come up. While he's coming up, let me acknowledge other electeds in the House. Joe, that's you? Joe Anderson, Port Commissioner. Lake Worth Beach City Commissioner Omari Hardy, who is also an educator. Now, any other electeds? Did I miss somebody else? Okay, so I'm good. I'm all politically correct. Great. All right, thank you.
All right, let's give it up for Dr. Robinson. Kind of hard to follow her. But you all are very fortunate to have a school board member like Dr. Robinson. I'm serious. She advocates for you all so much every single day, and she pushes us at the central office really to do better and to really push through that lens of equity and really defining what does equity mean. She has been an inspiration for me for probably the last 10 years, has really helped me become a better person to do better for kids. So I personally want to thank you, Dr. Robinson, for all that you do. No, you do. I appreciate that. And especially, I want to thank you all, and I want to thank you. You know, we're the 10th largest school district in the country, right? So when you think about that, we have a lot of schools, 185, I don't know. We lose count sometimes. But there's a lot of schools and places and you can choose to work. You know, and I want to thank you for choosing to work in Riviera Beach. You know, so, you know, there's, with, you know, the places that you can work, the kids that you're working with in Riviera Beach, not all of them come with all the blessings that some kids are fortunate enough to have. And so you have stepped up to do, you know, twice as much on a daily basis than in some communities where teachers don't have to do quite as much. So I thank you for doing the extra mile, working in Riviera Beach. I want to thank the city for stepping up, bringing us all here today to recognize the teachers, the good work that you do. And, you know, what I'm going to ask you to do throughout the year, because you're going to have, you know, you made it through the first week. We've got a number of weeks to go yet, so good job. I'm going to ask you to stay inspired. You know, there's so many opportunities at a school to be inspired on a daily basis, right, on an hourly basis. I just had an amazing visit at JFK this afternoon. You know, poor Mr. Clark last year, you know, I think I rattled his brain a little bit last year. And today, just to see, you know, how hard those teachers are working. Actually, I went to one classroom, which talked about inspiration. So I walked to this one teacher's classroom. We were in, what was her name that knew me from? So, you'll remember the story. So she goes, how do I know you? How do I know you? She's going, I'm like, she goes, where you work? What school are you at? I'm like, well, I'm in the central office. She goes, no, you're at a school. I said, well, it's been a while, but my last school was Boynton High. Boynton High. So she was a former student at Boynton Beach High School. Yeah, so, and now she's a teacher. So I was a very, very, very young principal, because that was like 10 years ago when I was at Boynton High. And now she's teaching here, and it's just like so proud to see her now being a teacher. What was her name? Caleb Franklin. So it was just pretty inspiring to see these people that you're touching every day that are growing up and going to come back and contribute to the community. That's what it's all about. So stay inspired on a daily basis. Look at all these kids and what they're doing, whether it's elementary through high school. You are changing the world. You're changing lives. I'm so hopeful more than ever. You know, the visits we're seeing with Dr. Fenoy, how he's fighting for what you do, the city stepping up and being part of, you know, making sure that you get the recognition that you do. Stay committed. We're here to support you. If you need anything, please let us know. You know, it is 5 o'clock somewhere, and I believe it's probably here. So have a great afternoon, have a great weekend, and we'll see you out at the schools.
I'd just like to thank Miss Betty Wells. Of course, Miss Betty Wells has been, Miss Betty Wells is 49 years with the Palm Beach County School District. She is the oldest teacher in the school district. So give her a round of applause, please. And Miss BB in the back here. Yes, ma'am. Miss Chanel right here. Great teachers. And I'm looking forward to a great year. Y'all need anything, y'all just give me a call. Thank you.